ng pag-tampered ng mga RFID.
Salamat, Congressman.
Mr. Chair, doon sa tampering ng RFID, I don't think na magiging problema yan kasi hindi madali, Mr. Chair, ma-fake yung RFID. Mr. Chair, thank you. Response lang po doon sa sinasabi ng kapatid nating rider na pag pumasok sa subdivision, pinapalis yung helmet. Number one, rights po nila yun eh. Private yun for security purposes. Number two, as far as safety is concerned, walang issue po doon. Kasi sa subdivision, di ka naman pwedeng tumakbo ng mabilis. Takbong pogi lamang. Kaya wala po ako wala tayong nakikita, Mr. Chairman, na problema doon. And kung talagang hindi acceptable sa iyo yung reasoning na ganon, huwag ka na lang pumasok sa subdivision. Rights na yun eh. Hindi natin pwedeng questionin yan. Yun lamang po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We now recognize Mr. Lacson, Juan Andre Lacson of the Northern Mindanao Ring. Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. In behalf of the National Federation of Motorcycle Clubs of the Philippines, nag-submit na po kami ng position paper right before the first hearing.
Wala rin sa akin, sir. Anyway, reiterate the gist of your position paper for the record.
It was from LERAP, sir, Quezon Alpase, and also the National Federation. You mentioned it earlier that we submitted.
Can you reiterate the gist for the record?
The gist, sir, is basically we agree with the proposal of Senator JV. But based on the hearing today, I just would like to make two additional observations. First is, everyone's concern is the identification of motorbikes at the outset, at the time of purchase. And I mentioned before, during the first hearing, that, which many objected, by the way, that I think the best solution is to have conduction stickers for motorbikes and not just four-wheel vehicles. That way, at the point of sale, kasi I sell motorbikes as well, at the point of sale, may identification tag na ang motorsiklo, just like the four-wheel vehicles. I just like to reiterate that point and let everybody digest that thought and not be carried away by the processes and the existing rules of the LTO and the HPG and everybody else.
Kotse, please. Conduction ka. Yung conduction sticker ng kotse, kahit 10 taon, di napuputput eh.
Precisely my point.
Kahit tamaan ng wiper.
Precisely my point, sir. At kasi po, nagbenta kami ng motorsiklo, 7 days po sabi ng LTO bago sila makapagbigay ng ORCR. So that means you cannot use your bike for the first 7 days, which is unfair for a motorcycle buyer. Okay? And para sa akin po, milagro po kung makuha ng bagong buyer ng motor ang ORCR niya at plate in 7 days. That's practically a miracle. As the LTO mentioned, the plates from 2014 wala pa. Pero meron na po ORCR. Yung mga iba. Okay? Kung may conduction sticker po doon, that's no issue sa rider. My second point po is, nabanggit niyo po kanina, Senator Tolentino, that maraming riders or drivers that do not transfer their vehicles to the current user. Okay? Ang isang malaking reason po niyan, my experience in selling motorbikes, is the HPG macro etching. Kasi po, kailangan po dahil sa HPG, lahat ng vehicles na nagpapalit ng pangalan. Tama po ba? Kung ang motor po ay nasa Davao, yung original owner nasa Tuguegarao, kailangan po dalhin lang doon sa Tuguegarao or sa Camp Caringal or somewhere. So paano po mangyayari yun? It makes it impossible. At the same time po, bumili ka ng motor or kotse, hindi po namin maintindihan understand why do we have to go back to the police or the HPG and not just the LTO for such a transaction. Kaya po nangyayari yan sa public, dahil may red tape po eh. Hindi po ba ang in charge sa land transportation is the LTO? I don't personally understand why we have to go back to the HPG or the PNP, or they have their own reasons, but that is the reason why many of my customers and many vehicle users do not immediately transfer. So those are my 2 points.
So, any reaction from HPG? Payag ba kayong bawasan na yung ganong layer o i-limit na lang doon sa may alert o use yung existing stencil o i-delegate na ito sa local police station para malapit-lapit? Lahat naman ng munisipyo may local police station. I-authorize yung isang sarento ron na siya mag-stencil, padala sa HPG provincial o sa regional to consolidate. Ano sa tingin nyo?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Your Honor. On the part of the HPG, sir, mas mapapagaan yung trabaho namin kung pati yung mga municipal police stations sila na gumawa nun. Ang purpose lang naman, sir, bakit ginagawa ng HPG yun, sir? Para ma-check kung alarm or karnap yung vehicle, sir. Yun lang very purpose ng kaya kailangan natin ng HPG clearance, sir. Yun lang naman, sir. Thank you po.
Kung yung alarm, yung listahan, ibaba sa municipal police office, yung isang sarento natin doon ang in charge, may listahan na siya, mapapadali yung registration, matadagdagan ng kita pa ang LTO, ang pamahalaan, siguro pati yung local police station ay merong kaunting subsidy rin na makukuha doon, mabilis ngayon yung transaksyon, mababawasan din ang krimen kasi iba na yung alam nung na hindi na siya meron kayang datos tayo na purposely binebenta yung sasakyan knowing fully well na yung dating may-ari ginamit sa isang hindi magandang transaksyon o activity para na-dispose na. Meron kayang mga ganong datos, ibang usapan na yan. So, ulitin ko, payag ba ang HPG na bawasan na yun, i-delegate na para mabilis? Ang HPG kasi, usually meron to sa probinsya, sigurado yan, regional, urbanized cities. Wala na. Ayun na. Doon na siguro, doon na nakat yung additional layer. We will get the opinion of the LTO.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Kano siguro magiging dagdag na kita ng LTO pag nag-transfer na milyon yan?
Opo, definitely.
Milyon yan.
Pero we join the sentiments po eh. Talagang pinag-aaralan ho namin yung requirements ho namin dyan. No? In fact, that's one of the talking points with the ILG kung paano namin mas-streamline. And then gusto namin i-electronically link up ang HPG with LTO para kung meron silang alarma, may sasakyan na nagtatawid sa kidnapping o anumang krimen, alarma na agad namin sa aming sistema. Hindi na ho marirehistro yan, hindi na ho malilipat yan sa buong Pilipinas. But to do away with the, again, face-to-face, macro-etching and all these things. So, pero yan po isang discussion points natin with the ILG and with PNP para pa-streamline ho namin yung mga requirements ho namin, mapabilis, and then mas maraming compliance. Salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, I think, Mr. Chair, the idea is good, pero I think hindi pwede, Mr. Chair. Kasi po, mahalaga yung SPG clearance dahil may macro-etching dyan, Mr. Chair. Pwede kasing matampered yung engine number and other identification na sasakyan, Mr. Chair. And katulad po na sinabi ng SPG representative, ang tinitingnan kasi dyan yung nagamit sa crimes eh. So I think hindi pwede yung ganong idea, Mr. Chair. And idagdag ko lang, Mr. Chair, hindi lang naman po talaga yun ang problema eh. Kung bakit maraming delinquent motor vehicles. Isa dyan, Mr. Chair, there are provinces na walang emission testing center. One is Marinduque. Para mag-renew ka ng sasakyan, Mr. Chair, pupunta ka pa ng Lucena City.
itatransport mo yung sasakyan mo. So for motorcycles, gagastos ka more or less 5,000 back and forth to include renewal. So ang dapat matingnan din ng LTO, yung pagkukulang ng ahensya na katulad nito. Second, pag pumunta ka na, Mr. Chair, magpaparenew ka, hindi ibig sabihin umabsent ka sa trabaho mo, magre-renew ka, pwede. Siguro, with respect to ASEC, Bigor Mendoza, at ina-address naman nila yung pictures, may mga situation, Mr. Chair, na pag pumunta ka doon, nakapila ka, hindi ka naman ma-accommodate ng LTO o ng emission testing center kasi puno na daw. So maraming factors Ano pa? There are district offices. Ayaw i-process yung renewal ng sasakyan mo, ng motorsiklo mo. Kung hindi doon yung insurance kinuha doon sa gusto nila. Maraming factors po kasi na dapat ma-find out ng LTO to address this issue. And again, with respect to LTO, ASEC, Bigor Mendoza, at kaibigan naman natin yan, sana po, huwag tayong mag-focus masyado muna doon sa panghuhuli ng mga motorcycle riders na unregistered yung motorsiklo. Meaning, maging fair tayo. Tingnan po natin, ano ba yung lapses ng agency? Public servants po tayo I-address muna natin yung mga pagkukulang natin. Then, after that, ma-address natin yan. Saka po natin higpitan ang mga ito. Maraming factors, Mr. Chair, na dapat i-address po ng LTO. Sa ngalan po ng public service. Kaibigan naman natin yan So, siguro po, Mr. Chair, dahil out of the topic na ito, pag-usap po kami ng LTO para mapag-usapan po ito. In general, hindi po natin pwedeng i-blame ang mga motor vehicle owners dito sa problema na ito. Maraming problema po na dapat ma-address, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Just the same, may we request the LTO family here to provide this committee, although not part of this deliberation today, any recommended policy changes that would ensure, one, the facilitation of transfer of ownership and registration. Similar to the United States, which I mentioned a while ago, they do that in 1 day. Two, how the agency can increase its administrative revenues. Kasi pinag-uusapan natin yung mga backlogs, kailangan ng pera nun. Pinag-uusapan natin yung increase yung IT capacity ng central server ninyo, etc. Kailangan ng pera nun. So, perhaps Attorney Bigor Mendoza, I know you're creative enough. If you can provide this committee a position paper on how to facilitate all of this, similar to what we've done with the Land Management Bureau and other agencies, yung mga titulo, yung ganun din yun yung mga hinati na titulo, ganun din yun So all of this are meant to address public needs, but just the same, it would increase the revenues of the government, and perhaps we can find a solution. So if you can do that, sir.
Yes, sir. We will submit the proposed changes. Sir.
Thank you. We're now on the tail end of this. Umalis na yung arangkada, sir. 1 minute na lang, mapakinggan niyo to. Baka naman call of nature na yan. We can dispense you. Gusto ko lang idagdag, though not part of the agenda for today. The concerns of many concerning electric bikes na hindi na-rehistro. At minsan, nakakasalubong ko na rito sa Buendia Liliko bigla ng, minsan EDSA. Itong yung makitid na tabi niya, papasok ng EDSA, yung ating end ng MRT. Nandun, kasalubong mo, walang tunog. Walang tunog na on the part of the pedestrians. Katabi mo na, malaki-laki rin, walang helmet si rider, medyo senior citizen, walang tunog, ewan ko kung may lisensya, walang rehistro. walang rehistro, walang helmet, naka-tsinelas lang yon. At kul pa yung mag-drive, may trike yun eh. At very easily accessible dito sa, hindi kalayuan dito. Corner of gano'n, kahit pwede kong i-mostrat. This is not just for Metro Manila but all over the Philippines na i-charge mo lang, andar na, paparada mo, sa gabi umaandar din. Walang tunog. So, is there any policy recommendation coming from the LTO, even from the Philippine National Police, how to address this? Baka ginagamit din ito riding in tandem kasi walang tunog. Tapos wala tayong reason. Do you suggest that we delegate the registration to the local government units? Do you suggest that we delegate the registration process to LGUs similar to the franchising of tricycles given to the LGUs? Or do we consolidate this function likewise to the LTO? Overburden na kayo, hindi nyo na nga marehistro yung may tunog. Paano yung walang tunog? Paano na yun? Of course, pasado kagad to sa emission. Wala itong karburador eh. Diba? So how do you address it? Do you have a specific number as to how many e-bikes have entered the market, have flooded the streets? How many accidents do we have involving e-bikes? Mas mas deadly ito. Kasi ang nakikita ko nito, aluminum na lang yung tagiliran na may basket sa harap. So, may naisip na ba kayong solusyon dito? Meron na bang asosasyon ng e-bikes? Wala pa, no? Wala pang association of e-bikes? Meron na bang e-bike na, meron na bang big bike e-bike? Meron na kasi may mga sports car na electric. LTO should likewise consider the circular signed by the President when he assumed office that electric cars for a certain period of time will be tax-free if imported. Pasok ba dito yung e-bikes? Pasok ba yung e-bikes na 4 na gulong? Pasok ba yung e-bikes na parang yung mga pan-trail? Yung mga ginagamit sa mga bundok-bundok? So, how do we address? Dati pambata lang to na laruan, pero ngayon, nasa highway na. Do you have a number? Number of e-bikes operating, number of e-bikes being sold, number of e-bikes involved in accidents, and the manufacturers, ano yung kanina, MPPDA? Is the e-bikes, the dealers of the e-bikes, are they part of your association?
No, Mr. Chair.
Do they have their own association?
Yes.
Meron din yun. So, may we hear from the LTO how do we address this concern, which is no longer a minority. Ang dami na nila. Dati pang subdivision lang, ngayon pang EDSA na.
Yes, sir. In fact, we will be proposing a policy change sa DOTR. Ang polisiya kasi ngayon, ang basihan ng rehistro is on the speed in which the vehicle can run. Ang cut-off is 25 kilometers per hour. Anything less than 25 kilometers per hour, as a general rule, hindi po kailangan i-rehistro sa LTO. But as you said, sir, medyo nababahala rin kami. Kasi
than 25?
Yes, sir.
Kilometers or miles?
Kilometers, sir.
Hindi kailangan iparehistro.
Pero napapahala na rin.
Yung bisikleta ni Senator JB, 50 kilometers per hour ang takbo nun.
Kailangan i-rehistro.
Zero lang yun. So go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Dipinal yun. Magagalit sa atin yung cycling.
We'll be proposing a policy change, sir, sa DOTR na huwag na basihan ang speed ng sasakyan but the use of the vehicle. Total, ang batas malinaw po eh. Pag ginamit yung sasakyan, any motorized vehicle used in our roads must be registered with the LTO. At yung driver ng sasakyan na to, kailangan lisensyado. The license can be given to a 16-year-old at the minimum student drivers po yan. No? Kung nasa EDSA na po yan, as you said, Buendia, kailangan covered to yan, kailangan rehistrado. So this is the one policy change that we're looking at. No? Nakausap na rin namin yung meron silang asosasyon, yung mga electric vehicles. No? Kinakausap po namin sila kung paano. We do not want to
vehicles 4-wheelers?
Yes, sir.
Electric vehicles 2-wheelers?
Ito po,
2 wheels?
2 and 3 wheelers po to. 2 and 3 wheelers. We've been talking to them since 2 months ago, preparatory to come out with a new policy guideline and for them to support new policies which the government will come out with. So yun po ang initial direction that we're looking at, sir. Hindi na ako magiging
O mag-helmet na rin sila? Ay naman, mamamalengke lang, nagdala na lang e-bike.
Eh, pag dumaan
Sa Cartimar na malengke, galing Bacoor.
may nangyari yan dito sa Sumulong Highway po, papunta ko talagang palengke. Na-aksidente po siya, nagkatamaan. If it could out helmet, it could have been worse. So talagang kailangan namin pairalin ng road safety. Ito ang pag-uusapan sa DOTR which we will bring up next week po for the discussion change policy ho, na nakikita po namin. Yung sa incentive, we are recommending also na lahat ng klaseng electric vehicle, whether 4-wheeled or 2-wheeled, ibigyan po ng incentive, no? Pero yung usage lang po ang i-control po sana ng
Medyo
LTO.
naabuso, baka maabuso.
Opo. And we'd like, kaya pa naman ito i-register ng LTO yan, no? In fact, bawat pasok ko ng electric vehicle, dumadaan po talaga sa LTO yan.
Pero sir, yung driver, walang lisensya yung iba.
Mapipilitan na ho yan kung talagang ipapasa itong polisiyan to. Pag dumaan ho sila sa mga major thoroughfares, especially, kailangan lisensyado ho sila.
Ang gulong kasi laki lang ng plato. Ang luneta.
Yun ang mangyayari. Huwag ho sila dadaan sa mga major thoroughfares ho natin or major streets. No? Hindi naman kailangan EDSA, kahit Tibog or Bendia. Pag sila dumaan doon, kailangan they will have to comply with any other law as applicable to all motorcycles as well.
Senator JD.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I think we siguro ASEC, we really have to fast track yung ano nito, no? Kasi yung proliferation nito, Mr. Chair, napakarami na talaga. It's all over. Eh, hindi naman sa inaano ko, marami dito, hindi talaga lisensyado ang nag-ooperate. So, it becomes a danger for both for them and for others on the road as well. So, I think we probably, Mr. Chair, we should have a separate investigation on the matter, or probably the LTO itself can already prioritize kasi road safety na ito na talaga medyo delikado because as I can see it, as I can observe, marami talaga dito hindi lisensyado. They're not licensed to operate motorized vehicles and that they are on the road. So, both danger for themselves, to their passengers, and to others. Pero kinakatamaan ko dito, Mr. Chair, marami pinansusundo ito ng mga batang maliliit, no? Mga nanay, mga lola. So, yung safety talaga ng mga passengers, I think we really have to prioritize also this issue, Mr. Chair.
So expect a